A pole audit is when a power company or the pole owner is doing an audit of their asset. So, unfortunately, there are circumstances where people attach to poles illegally, or they attach to a pole, or they do something that's out of the agreement in which they have with the pole owner. So the power company goes out and they audit the pole to make sure that there is, actually people where they need to be, and not causing any violations or any safety issues or anything like that. So there's a real focus on making sure that that's good. Like, somebody's probably seen where a truck has hit a phone line or a low hanging line or something like that, and tore down the poles. So what they want to do is make sure that they prevent that from happening and make sure that all of their poles are in compliance. So they do an audit, like an account audit, for like a financial account audit. A poor audit would mean that they didn't discover maybe the safety issues that are caused by them, and then they're not upgrading their system to keep them safe, to keep in compliance with the pole audit and the agreement that they have with the attacher. So if they don't conduct a good pole audit, then there stems to be safety issues out there that last for a long time, because it's not like they do a pole audit every year. These things are big projects. They're manual projects. They require somebody to go in the field and look at them. So they have to survey, millions of poles in some cases, right? So they only do them maybe once every 5 years. So if they weren't done correctly, or somebody's came out there and attached to the pole when they wasn't supposed to, that safety issue is potentially there for a number of years before the next audit. Yeah, we have a case study here that we did at IQGeo where a customer came to us asking for our help on a pole audit. The audit was small. It was only 5,000 poles. We're talking, millions of poles at one point in time. But we looked at that case study. They were getting audited by a power company because, just like I spoke about, they were out of compliance. The power company saying that they're out of compliance with the original agreement. So the provider, the user, has to go out there and prove that they're not out of compliance in order to, save all the dollars and the hundreds of dollars of fines, millions of dollars of fines that they're being, told that they have to pay to correct these violations. So the manual process is one, it's slow. Two, it's expensive. It costs upwards of $15 per pole to go out and do a survey or something like that. What we were able to do is take the user's data, bring it into IQGeo. Using our AI model, we were able to train the AI model to recognize the agreed upon compliance within their existing contract, and we just simply did a comparison. We were able to, with images, to draw on lines and representations of pole attachments on the pole itself. And then we were able to analyze that using measurements, just simply putting on there, hey, you're this far away from attachment, you're this far away, to make sure that you're in compliance. And we were able to give that back to the customer in a very short time compared to months of going out and doing it manually. And we were able to produce that in weeks instead of months. And that helps the customer actually go back to the power company or whoever the pole owner is and say, look, you said that we were out of compliance, that's why you're doing a pole audit. Well, we've went out and we've conducted our own pole audit, and we have successfully come back and say that we feel that we're in compliance with the original agreement that we have in place. So now they're going to go out and they're going to inspect their own owned poles, and they're going to make sure that, okay, we show that this pole only has 2 attachers. Our records show that there should be only 2 attachers on this pole. If they go out there and they see that there's 3 attachers, then they got to go back and check their billing records to make sure that, hey, we're billing for 2 people on this pole when now we see 3 people. So that sparks a further investigation. So they came to us and they said, we believe in certain areas based on our field techs, based on our years of having our own people out there, seeing these illegal attachers and questioning that, they came to us and they said, we have areas in parts of the country to where we believe that somebody has gone out there and attached to our poles. Either they knew it or they didn't know it. Nonetheless, they're not supposed to be there without notifying us. So what we're doing is we collected the poles. We went out there using AI technology. We went out and we seen, okay, we can analyze every pole. We could see there's one communication, two communications, and the third communications. Again, like I said, we compare that to the billing system, and we can tell them how many poles there's an additional attacher to, that they should go out and do some investigation and find out who that is. One, to claim revenue, and two, to make sure that there's no safety infractions that they could be liable for as being the pole owner. I really see it really progressing. I mean, it takes time to train the model. This is new technology. Because for years and years and years, ever since I've been doing this, which is well over, 35 years, there's not been a simple product that you can come up with and say, hey, we can do this with less manual effort. It always required somebody going in the field, analyzing the pole, bringing that data back, analyzing it either by hand or using Excel or calculator or whatever to try to, analyze that information. Well, with the AI technology that we're implementing at IQGeo, we're able to take that and put it in a geographical representation. You can see that not only on a map, but you can gather the data behind that, and you can create reports, and you can create certain whatever you want to deliver to the customer, whatever they need to deliver to prove themselves or whatever. What I see happening besides the pole audit and the illegal attachers is being able to do planning in the beginning. So just like pole audits or illegal attachers, you always have to send somebody in the field. So if you're on a pole for any length of time and you're the owner of the pole, first you got to go out and do the survey, then you got to do this one, then you got to do this, and then you got to do this, right? So all of that every step of that costs you money to do that. My philosophy is, if you're doing your planning, if you get out there and you take a picture of it, like an image on the street side, right? If you take that image, you save that image in our software, you can calculate that. You can go out, and we got another customer that wants to go into a brand new area in which they don't service. We call that greenfield area in our industry. They're going to a greenfield area. They want to do a survey to see, is it even worth going out here and constructing this area? Well, then they go out and they can we can get somebody to do the LiDAR imagery that we need to have the planning where it needs to be, or they can supply that to us. And then we can bring it into our software solution. We can say, we think this much is aerial, then we can cut it up and we can analyze the material, and we can help them with their planning, whether they want to try to attempt to attach to the new poles based on the requirements that we spoke about during the audit. So we can find out whether they're in compliance with that, correct? So then they can make the decision to go aerial, or they can go underground in order to do that. And we have another one of our customers that are interested in that planning approach. And then what that's going to enable you, like I said before, is you're already going to have that picture in the beginning in your planning stage. If you was fast forward and you're actually going to build that now, you can use that picture going forward for all the different steps that I described earlier, and you can avoid paying each step of having somebody in the field to go do that. You just start off at the ground level, and you have good pictures, you have good photo representation in a LiDAR, a digital format, and then you can actually use that for your different use cases that might come up in the life cycle of having that pole and turning on all that network.